Adam Green here with nomorenews.org. Thank you for joining me. Today is Wednesday, December 23rd, 2020. It is 2 days until Christmas. We're going to start off with Netanyahu wishing all the Christians out there in the world a very Merry Christmas and let all the Christians know that he is fulfilling biblical prophecy by bringing peace to the world with the Abrahamic Accords. This is the video that Netanyahu just released. We're going to be covering that. We're going to be covering some of the other latest news. Thank you all for being here. Amalekites, let's get right into it. Oh, and it's the 23rd, which is the expectant date for my wife, for our firstborn little girl. So any moment now, I could be having a baby. And yet I was on the computer all day putting together this news. So it's important, have to do it. Here's Netanyahu. We have December 23rd, just 2 hours ago. Says, I wish Israel's many Christian friends, who he thinks are useful idiots and dupes, around the world a very Merry Christmas. With the star. Notice the star. We just had Kushner on the 21st, the Bethlehem star, the great Saturn conjunction, which everywhere in the media was linking it to the Star of Bethlehem. The Moshiach, associating with the Moshiach of the Christians. And Kushner gets awarded the Grove of the Nations, 18 olive trees planted for Jared Kushner for bringing peace to the Middle East on the 21st, the same day. Just a coincidence, I'm sure. He says, on behalf of the people of Israel, I thank each and every one of you for your prayers and your support. He certainly does thank all the duped, gullible sheep Christian Zionists that are worshiping Israel, believing they will be blessed if they bless the holy ones, the chosen people, even though they think you are spittle. They think you are a drop in the bucket. They think that you are a beast in the field, that you're only here to serve them. The Talmudists in Israel will burn down Christian buildings and spit on Christian priests. Yet here he is pretending like he's the best friends of the Christians. We're going to play this video, and then we're going to read some of these comments from these Christians. Merry Christmas to Israel, and may the Lord above pour many blessings on that small but very strong country. God loves Israel. Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. This is the quote, and it's out of order, and it's paraphrased, but this is what he says. Quote, know that your prayers for Israel and peace are really being answered. With the Abraham Accords, we're realizing the biblical prophecy of peace on earth. Netanyahu to Christians worldwide. Let's watch that.
I wish Israel's many Christian friends around the world a very Merry Christmas. On behalf of the people of Israel, I thank each and every one of you for your prayers and for your support. This Christmas, the traditional greeting of peace on earth will once again be expressed by millions across the globe. This while our world suffers from the terrible COVID-19 pandemic and far from too much violence and conflict. But remarkably, here in the Middle East, we've been actively making progress in realizing the biblical prophecy of peace on earth, or at least
fulfilling the biblical prophecy of peace on earth. It's a Christmas miracle. Netanyahu and his circle of peace have brought peace to the world. And you know, when they say peace, it's really weapons deals, setting up the battle lines for the end-time simulated Gog and Magog war, where they will rise from the ashes and rule the world according to their prophecies. Just like Ben Gurion said, the shrine of the prophets in the Supreme Court of mankind in Jerusalem. Let's watch that again.
Remarkably, here in the Middle East, we've been actively making progress in realizing the biblical prophecy of peace on earth, or at least this part of the earth. This past year, and with the active help of the United States and President Trump, we have moved forward with the Abraham Accords, achieving historic breakthroughs between Israel and the Arab world.
So literally, like I've been saying, they believe he's hyping it up that the Abraham Accords are peace on earth. Israel's so-called destiny to bring peace to the world through the Torah, through the Noahide laws. Really, it's going to be a massive war. And this is what the Christians believe as well. War by deception. Christians believe that the Antichrist will make a peace covenant and then there'll be a big war.
Peace with the United Arab Emirates, peace with the Kingdom
And who's
of
doing
Bahrain,
it? Jared Kushner.
Peace with the Republic of Sudan, peace with the Kingdom of Sudan.
Sudan just made a big deal with Israel, and then now they get all this money in this COVID relief bill from Trump, rewarding them for joining Israel's Zionist New World Order.
Peace with the Republic of Sudan, peace with the Kingdom of Morocco. After 26 years without a new peace treaty, we've had 4 new agreements in less than 4 months. And this is just the beginning. More and more Arab countries are rethinking traditional hostile attitudes towards Israel and are seeking reconciliation with the
Reconciliation is the term they use when Esau reconciles with Jacob, but they believe, this is deep Talmudic now in Gematria, they believe Esau came and kissed him, but there's these dots over the word to kiss in Hebrew, so that means that it's an act of betrayal or something like that. They don't trust Esau, even though the Christians pretend like they love them. They are deceiving them. They are using them. And this is reconciliation, and you become Noahides and serve them. Otherwise, you're Amalek and you will be destroyed. But the term reconciliation is Jacob and Esau 100%.
The Jewish state. Instead of regarding Israel as their enemy, they increasingly regard us as a friend, as an ally, a vital ally and a vital partner.
Vital ally, vital partner. They're going to be getting all of their technocracy, Internet of Things, cybersecurity dominance all over these countries, backdoors into everything, worldwide, mark of the beast. You will not be able to buy or sell if you go against the Zionist agenda. We're already basically getting there.
This is a new and revolutionary change. It will make a better life, a better place for all the peoples of the Middle East. It will make for a better world. And so this Christmas, when you pray for Israel and you pray for peace, know that your prayers are really being answered.
Netanyahu is answering your prayers. Kushner, Trump, Netanyahu, Putin, these guys are answering your prayers. Chabad Lubavitch's prayers is the agenda that they're following.
Peace on earth. Merry Christmas.
Peace on earth. Mr. Peace, Netanyahu. Oh boy, now we have this one. Here's Netanyahu, Trump, Putin, and Jared Kushner are following Chabad's agenda to fulfill prophecy and hasten Moshiach.
In Jerusalem.
Oh, that is loud. Let's turn this down. Little compilation I made.
In Jerusalem, King David established our capital 3,000 years ago. In Jerusalem, King Solomon built our temple, which stood for many centuries. In Jerusalem, Jewish exiles from Babylon rebuilt the temple, which stood for many more centuries. In Jerusalem, the Maccabees rededicated that temple, and restored Jewish sovereignty in this land. And it was here in Jerusalem, some 2,000 years later, that the soldiers of Israel spoke 3 immortal words: Hal Habayit Be'adenu. The Temple Mount is in our hands. The Temple Mount is in our hands. Words that lifted the spirit of the entire nation. We are in Jerusalem and we are here to stay.
I think President Trump has made history. This will be remembered the way we remember the Cyrus Declaration from 2,500 years ago, when he told the exiles of Babylon, you can go back and rebuild the temple in Jerusalem. This is a historic moment, and we will always remember it.
Here's the Rebbe. Hope that the temple will be rebuilt. This is a model. Chabad Rebbe. May it happen speedily. Many things have progressed. What hasn't changed is Moshiach still hasn't come. So do something to hasten his coming. We're doing what you say, Rabbi. Apparently it's not enough. Many hours have already passed and he's still not here. But there are still a few hours left in the day. So try still for today. Yes, he says, yes. Here's the other meeting with Netanyahu in the Rebbe. Listen to what he says. This is the first one. Much success. I had much satisfaction from your first speech. I heard and saw your message, Rabbi. May you continue in this path. I intend to continue precisely on this path. I've heard the Rebbe's message well. This is like a Star Wars meeting with the Sith or something, or the Emperor Palpatine. Kabbalah wizard. Oh, how did that work out? It's best to avoid war and have America and Esau be your soldier and do the wars for you and subjugate the world, and in the end you will co-opt it all. Thank you for the opportunities to be helped by you. He got the Rebbe's kosher blessing, just like Jared Kushner. The spiritual guidance, not just me, all Jews. Your new role, you are just starting. I've come to you at the start, and I intend to return to you many times. He will struggle. He's been the longest serving prime minister of Israel, and right now we're going to get into how people are leaving his party. They're going into the fourth elections now. He's under indictments and is trying to avoid trials. God is on your side, of course. God's mission, Tikkun Olam, light unto the nations. Blessings and success. I got one more too. Here is, and then he goes on to do 9/11.
I became the ambassador, Israel's ambassador to the United Nations in 1984.
Sped up a little bit.
And shortly afterwards, I had a visit in my office, which I said, Rebbe, I came to see you. And he said, just to see, not to talk? And then we started talking. He talked in Hebrew. He switched to Hebrew. Perfect Hebrew. With a certain Ashkenazi accent, but perfect Hebrew.
Ashkenazi, ha ha ha.
And we spoke for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and the Hasidim are getting very restless. 15 minutes.
It's funny that he says they're restless. How did he know that? Were they bobbing back and forth like they always do? They always seem a little restless, you know what I mean? That love-making to Shekinah that they do.
20 minutes and there's a buzz, a hum that begins to rise. 30 minutes, 35 minutes, I think my physical safety is now in jeopardy. And after 40 minutes, he stopped. He said what he wanted to say. He said, remember that in a hall of perfect darkness, totally dark, if you light one small candle, its light will be seen from afar. Or yakarot, its precious light will be seen by everyone.
Kabbalah, turn darkness to light. Darkness is the Gentiles, light is the chosen ones, the holy seed versus the Satan seed. And of course, we're supposed to believe here that Netanyahu is the light in the darkness. Please.
He said, your job, he didn't say job, shlichus.
Mission.
Your mission is to light a candle for truth and for the Jewish people. And that's what I've tried to do ever since. Eli, you've been doing all You're adult.
And how did he bring light to the darkness? With wars, with spying, with technocracy, takeover, agenda. Anyway, now we have Pompeo puts out a statement today, or it's posted today, but I think it happened a little while ago. Pompeo says everybody who joined the Abraham Accords will see the benefits for their own people. Join the Zion New World Order and you will be blessed. Otherwise, you will be cursed and you are with the devil, basically. You're with us or against us. I am highly confident that many, many more nations, many, many more goyim will choose to do the right thing and recognize Israel as the rightful homeland of the Jewish people and the chosen people of God. What he really believes.
I expect more normalization announcements. Whether they'll come in the next 30 days or 60 days or 6 months is difficult to know. But the direction of travel is very clear. And,
how much of Trump's term was Kushner and Pompeo and Avi Berkowitz and all these other Zionists in his cabinet making Israel great again? How much of it? And there's still people out there that are pretending like Trump is a patriot and not a Zionist agent. It just boggles my mind how everybody doesn't see it by now. You're either a total paid agent, retarded, love it, and you're a Christian Zionist, or you're a Jewish Zionist, or you're just ignorant and pacified. And
the rationale for that has a little bit to do with American policy. We got it right. We took away the excuse of the conflict between Israel and the Palestinians. We took away the excuse that the United States was going to appease Iran.
Took away the excuse. We just took it away. Excuse is gone. We pulled all their money and we talked about giving them Jerusalem and all the land.
And so we took that way, and in the end, those were good sovereign decisions by those leaders. Those countries are more safe, more secure. They'll be more prosperous. I saw Emirati businessmen in Israel. I saw Israeli businessmen in the Emirates. Good things are happening there. Those two countries are coming closer and closer together, and everybody who joined the Abraham Accords will see the benefits for their own people. So I am highly confident.
This is Israel setting up their Zionist New World Order. This is what's happening. America is facilitating all of it to boost their position in the world, their global power.
Many, many more nations will ultimately choose to do the right thing and recognize Israel as the rightful homeland of the Jewish people.
Okay. Abraham Accords are bringing the nations together according to biblical prophecy, like Netanyahu says. The Noahide laws are being pushed. Okay, we have in this, I think this is in the COVID bailout bill, or maybe this is just something additional. Indonesia, for recognizing Israel, will receive $1 billion in U.S. financing if it makes peace with Israel. This is how they're using America to buy off the world, to coerce the world, probably threaten the world, buy them off, bribe them, same thing, I guess, to sign deals with Israel, to set up the Zionist New World Order. And I'm not a fan of Jewish Voice for Peace, but just to get an idea of some of these headlines, this so-called peace deal is setting up the battle lines for the Gog and Magog War of Armageddon, the war of the sons of light versus the sons of darkness, like the Sanhedrin minted the coin with Netanyahu and Trump on it. Here's Trump announces normalization between Israel and UAE, and then shortly after, U.S. plans sale of F-35 fighter jets to the UAE in $23 billion arms deal. Israel-Morocco agree to normalize relations in U.S. brokered deal, December 10th. And U.S. proposes $1 billion arms sale to Morocco after Israel deal. Do you guys, are you picking up on what's going on right now? Israel is arming up their allies where they're creating the battle lines to play out this simulated, engineered end times war. Now, we have trending right now on Twitter is Iran. Iran is trending because Trump tweeted a photo on Wednesday of rockets that were aimed at the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad and claimed that the rockets were fired by Iran. Trump warns Iran against additional attacks on Americans in Iraq 1 hour ago. There's already been a lot of war drums beating since the election about Iran. Remember, we had the flare-up at the beginning of the year. Are they trying to ignite something before Trump leaves office, possibly? Or igniting a war so Trump goes for the coup and crosses the Rubicon and tries to be dictator? I don't know. I'm not making any predictions. I'm just wargaming the possible scenarios. We got Netanyahu headline also today. Netanyahu hints Israel won't shy away from military action against Iran. Our policy is clear and consistent. Whoever tries to harm us will suffer a crushing blow. This is today. And Trump's favorite Zionist propagandist symbol there. Now, this slap in the face COVID bailout, all of these Zionist agents, just like Trump said, oh, $600, it's a slap in the face, I'm going to veto it, or every American should get $2,000. Why are we paying to all these things? It frames him as the hero against Congress, fighting for the American people. And it's going to be like more, the next deal will probably be more for Israel. But I just can't help but notice, and a lot of people are noticing, how these Zionist propagandists seem to be all omitting Israel's 500 million. We already give them 3.8 billion every year, and that's just the bare minimum. And that's every year for 10 years, and they're always trying to push for more. And then that, as I said, that's just the bare minimum. There's all these other agreements and all this other money going there, as well as our technology just being siphoned dry, and they're gonna let us blow away in the wind and sell us out to China and Russia and the new Zionist world order that they're gonna set up. Charlie Kirk here, massive Zionist, talks about all of this millions going to these countries, but he approves of Israel because Israel doesn't make the list. 80,000 likes on this one, and they don't even know that 500 million is going to Israel, and that this 700 million to Sudan, they just made peace with Israel, and that's the biggest one. So Tor, this girl that was in Millie Weaver's documentary, big QAnon total Trump shill, 62,000 followers. She makes this little graph up here showing all the countries that are getting money and literally leaves Israel off the list. Startup nation, they're geniuses. They're chosen by God, but it's just, I guess it's in the Bible. We have to give them money and we're blessed. None of these people are adding them to the list. I mean, it's just so ridiculous. Just like Trump didn't call it out. And I bet you if Trump vetoes it, if he's able to do that, the next bill will have even more goodies for Israel. Here's a nice little cartoon. COVID relief, $600. Tim Pool, I guess, the American getting run over by the 500 million military aid. Uncle Sam headed to Israel. This is, of course, an anti-Semitic cartoon. It should be banned for hate speech. It's anti-Semitic to not want to give Israel weapons to be a light unto the nations. Here is Trump also in the news today, December 23rd. Trump vetoes defense bill, the NDAA, setting up congressional vote to potentially override him. And he apparently is, and this is because Section 230, he wanted them to add overturn of Section 230, and this is the protection that social media companies have over the content that's uploaded there. So if this is repealed, a lot of people that are for free speech on the internet, they are saying this will be terrible. This means that the social media companies will censor much more if they repeal 230, because they'll be open to all these lawsuits. So they'll have the justification to censor even more. So very interesting. Trump may be vetoing this other one. Also in the news today, busy news day today. Trump, another Zionist war criminal pardon with 4 Blackwater contractors jailed for massacre of Iraq civilians. It was one of the biggest scandals of the Iraq war. Blackwater, Eric Prince, mercenary group that are on a, quote, crusade, Christian Zionist. Trump pardons them, just like Trump's pardoning Flynn and all these other Zionists. Eric Prince and the Council for National Policy, the CNP, founded by Tim LaHaye, the author of the Left Behind Rapture End Times Fanatic series. Armageddon Soon. Eric Prince's Blackwater, his sister. I always get mixed up if it's his sister or his wife every single time. I forget. What is her name? Betsy DeVos, that was at the also CMP. She was at the Department of Education trying to make anti-Semitism illegal. Eric Prince and Blackwater trained Project Veritas for their undercover stuff. They're funded by the whole Zionist right-wing network. Alex Jones once joked that he's working for some group as a Trump left behind. I just remember that right now. I wonder if I search Blackwater if I'll find it. He said it to Owen Schroyer. Let's see. Eric, maybe? No. Man, I'll have to find that and post it on Twitter. But anyway, Blackwater gets pardoned, of course. People are begging for him to pardon Assange and Snowden. And without getting into their legitimacy or who they're working for or any of that stuff, people are saying that it's a slap in the face to people who wanted that pardon, pardoning the war criminals instead. He still might do it, though. Who knows? Now, Netanyahu seems to be in some political trouble as well right now. A bunch of people are high-level people in his Likud party, founded by terrorist Menachem Begin, who gave a private jet to Jerry Falwell to preach Christian Zionism in America, just like they pay John Hagee at Kufi. That's literally IDF Netanyahu Likud propaganda. Yeah, it's the Chi-Coms, guys. You're a Chi-Com agent if you don't believe it. So this guy, Elkin, says Netanyahu forced the elections. They're going back to the 4th elections. They're all these Likudniks are leaving Netanyahu's party to another party where they're about rebuilding the temple right away. I guess I've known that Netanyahu is not the most religious extremist party there. So this seems like it's going to be exerting pressure on Netanyahu to give the religious fanatics more. It'll be his justification to have the political backing to do it. Another one, Sharon Haskell, is latest Likud to defect to SARS. That's the name of the party that they're going to. She looks young. Likud party here. Michael Shear is latest Likud defector to Gideon Saar's party, another one. All these people leaving Netanyahu's party. There's an exodus. And here's the Saar party. And you can see Ben-Gurion said that if Israel has a soul, then Jerusalem is the soul of Israel. You do not divide your soul. We know that the nations of the world still do not accept our sovereignty and our right to all parts of the city. Quote, we pray next year in Jerusalem. We went on to call on Netanyahu to build in Jerusalem, saying, quote, we pray next year in Jerusalem, but Jerusalem and the temple will not be built if we do not strengthen and build all parts of the cities. We will not be afraid, nor will we be deterred by any threat or international pressure. So that's what's going on over in the Likud party. Now on the free speech ADL censorship front, we got some stories. ADL tweeting out today, quote, now is the time for collaboration and smart policy. Smart ADL, our experts at the ADL, we're smart and we're going to tell the Goyim what they're allowed to notice. Sorry. Smart policy that curbs the excesses of free speech and ensures that big tech is held accountable for its behavior. Yeah, the Jews at the ADL are going to be holding the internet free speech accountable. But don't say that that they're censoring the internet or that they have power over what we can say and that they're shutting it down. You're not allowed to say those things. Our CEO, Jonathan Greenblatt, writes in the SSI review about how we can work together to curb online hate, aka exposing their Zionist, supremacist, anti-European, anti-America, anti-free speech agenda. What do I say here? B'nai B'rith, Israel's speech regulator, is going to hold big tech accountable. Free speech is accountable to Jews, and you will be banned for noticing. Jonathan Greenblatt also tweeting out today, so tired of winning. So tired of winning. Netanyahu, or Greenblatt says, and look at how pathetic he is. No, he's got 250,000 followers, millions in backing, gets paraded around all the mainstream media, a fellow and a board member, and hailed as a hero everywhere. And the MSM, he gets 3 retweets and 16 likes on an article like this. Important move by the Union of Oxford. Decision to become the latest university to adopt the Oh my God, I just realized that the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance has their own Twitter following definition of anti-Semitism. This is the definition I've talked about so much. This is the definition that's going to be the total worldwide shut it down. You're not allowed to criticize God's chosen people. I've gone into the clauses. It says you can't call them racist. You can't say conspiracies and stereotypes about them controlling any, quote, societal institution. You can't say they control politics, finance, media, the internet, anything. It's a trope. It's anti-Semitic. You will be censored. They're trying to enact this worldwide. Literally, Trump signing bills, the European anti-Semitism bill, pushing this definition everywhere. Signed into law by Trump, just like Trump had this this definition in the executive order that he signed for college campuses. And still, none of these free speech, First Amendment, patriot frauds will talk about this. The working definition, Greenblatt voice. The working definition is an important tool in the fight against this age-old hate. The way they gaslight the ancient hate, we hate them for no reason. This is the scapegoating of Esau. They believe that Esau is born anti-Semitic, don't even know why they hate them. It's a law of nature. Meanwhile, they've got the blood libel that Esau and Edom will be destroyed, that we're the seed of Satan, that the Gentiles, and their enemy is Amalek, and their guardian angel is Satan. This is what they believe in Talmud. And they're going to talk to us about hate. The people that are chosen by God are going to call other people supremacist, and it's just, they're able to get away with it, even though it's incredibly unpopular. The definition, you're not allowed to call them racist. You're not allowed to compare them to Nazis. You're not allowed to say they control anything. You're not allowed to threaten their right to self-determination. Like, you just can't question anything. You can't criticize them for anything. Here's the article from the Jewish News. Oxford University adopts international definition of anti-Semitism, and many college campuses are adopting this. This is what they're trying to pressure social media to adopt, all the news corporations to adopt. Listen to this, though. Move comes after Education Secretary Gavin Williamson warned that institutions could face funding cuts if they refuse to back this new anti-Semitism definition. This is the essential de facto implementation of the Noahide laws. Straight up. This is also fulfilling the prophecy of Isaiah that they love to talk about. He will swallow up death in victory, and the Lord God.
Isaiah 25:8. He will swallow up death in victory, and the Lord God will wipe away tears from all faces, and the rebuke of his chosen people, the Jews, shall he take away from off all the earth, for the Lord hath spoken it.
The rebuke of his people shall he take away from all of the earth. They shall not
be rebuked by the Goyim. It's blasphemy. It's blasphemy to criticize God's children, God's chosen people. The Torah is the word of God. The temple is the building of God. And the Jews are his people of God. And you will be cursed if you curse them, and blessed if you bless them.
And this is literally the theology that's controlling the world right now. What else do we have here? Education Secretary warned that universities could face cuts if they refuse to adopt working definition of anti-Semitism before Christmas. This is how much they're trying to shove this, implement this, how fast they're trying to do it. And the implementation of the Noahide laws and getting rid of anti-Semitism or anti-Semites is Amalek. That's what has to happen for Moshiach to come, or to be anointed. And mind you, Trump's executive order, free speech on college campuses, is basically the same thing. They will defund you if you don't accept this Orwellian term where you can't criticize them at all. The Samuel Benjamin, president of Oxford University, JSOC, which is Jewish Society, they've adopted the definition of anti-Semitism. In doing so, it joins the growing number of universities across the country in adopting a definition that is crucial in combating prejudice and discrimination against Jews. Again, special preferential treatment. It's not equality across the board for all people, all religions, all races, all faiths. Those are basically the same thing. But there's no anti-Semitism, there's no anti-Christian czar, but there's an anti-Semitism czar. They've upgraded the position of the anti-Semitism czar, who is just at a Hanukkah party hosted by Chabad Lubavitch, by the way, and is paid by Adelson, funded by Adelson. And Elon Carr got elevated up to ambassador status, the special government position all about protecting Jews worldwide. Yes, I would love to be the Goyim Czar. That is a great idea. New York City 9/11 Truth. You always have the best ideas. Where is your Amalek sticker, New York City 9/11 Truth? Somebody hook him up with a GIF subscription if you can. He's awesome. Okay, it says, harassment and discrimination of any kind, including harassment on racial or religious grounds, are totally unacceptable at Oxford University. And we have a strong policy in place to guard against them. This is them say, that was their response when they were asked before if they would adopt them. While a professor of politics at the International Relations at University of Oxford signed an open letter to The Guardian this November expressing concerns over the internationally accepted definition. Yes, many people are resisting this definition. Even the guy that came up with the definition says that this was not supposed to be implemented as any kind of guidelines or law. This was just supposed to be for research so that they can collect anti-Jewish sentiment. And it says here, the Union of Jewish Students said, quote, "We are delighted that the University of Oxford has joined the growing list of UK universities adopting the definition. We want to thank Jewish students for their hard work, determination, and for pressuring the university on this matter." They are good. They are determined and good at pressuring. I will give them that. They're very good at pressuring and using their influence, but hey, it's anti-Semitic to point it out, right? Both Oxford and Cambridge have taken this step to support their Jewish students. This should be an example to all other higher education institutes of the importance of adopting this definition. And this anti-Semitism definition also says you're not allowed to talk about conspiracies of a world Jewish conspiracy. You're not allowed to criticize the Torah, the Talmud, and the Zohar, basically, because that's their faith, and you have to respect their faith for some reason, although it's completely anti-human and megalomaniacal and supremacist. This should be an example to all other higher education institutes on the importance. The adoption of the definition comes after a recent report showing a rise in reported student anti-Semitism, in which the security organization urged all universities to adopt the international definition of anti-Semitism. Oxford University Media Office declined to comment. Just tired of winning. Universities, this was back October 9th, I missed it, out of the Independent. Universities may face cuts if they reject the definition of anti-Semitism. So it's illegal to boycott them, and then they're going to boycott the colleges, basically, and not fund them with the tax dollars if they don't adopt this definition where you can't criticize God's chosen people. I mean, if it's not more obvious, the small supremacist tribe that's known for subverting and doing these things all throughout history, all over the world, and now they're doing it again, the people that own you are making it illegal to talk about who owns you. The slave masters are telling their slaves to shut it down. That's what's happening right now. And so many cowards out there won't acknowledge this. They won't share this information, and it's going to be the end of us. It's going to be the end of the West. It's going to be we're fighting for the future of humanity, and people are scared of being called anti-Semitic, scared of being banned. Combating European Anti-Semitism Act of 2017, pushing this worldwide. Our tax dollars going to censor, to protect Israel worldwide, to censor students. They're targeting all the college campuses, the education system, and then in one generation, they'll have everybody trained in victim persecution status, the guilt of the Holocaust, Holocaustianity, where you can't criticize them at all, which they're shoving that. They say the guilt, Greenblatt goes, the guilt of the Holocaust is fading. And that's letting people criticize us. We need to indoctrinate more and shut it all down. Now, is that where I'm going next? Yeah. We have a headline out of NBC, what I've been covering in my last few videos, about QAnon and InfoWars people and the Trump Zionist shills are clamoring for martial law for him to cross the Rubicon. Now that he's fighting back and fighting for $2,000 for every American and called out Congress, all of Congress looks awful. Trump looks like the hero for being pretending to be America first, although he won't criticize the money to Israel, and the next bill will have even more. Trump meets with QAnon influencers Sidney Powell and Flynn. The conspiracy's adherents beg for a dictatorship. Literally, they are begging for a Trump, King of Israel, God, King, Messiah, QAnon, Chabad messianic takeover of the United States. The last president, Sidney Powell, has promoted QAnon. She even shared the hashtag, "The storm is coming." Steve Pieczenik also pushing these QAnon shills, pushing the InfoWars, pushing a very similar QAnon agenda. Flynn took the QAnon oath. This is funny. What this congressman said. He says, quote, "This has metastasized into a cult based on some arcane type of religious fervor." It's absolutely preying on the religious vulnerabilities. Q with the cryptic prophecies, Trump, the Moshiach ben Yosef messianic figure that's going to turn the darkness to light and is going to take out the cabal, the satanic pedophile cabal, and they're going to have no war, no debt, and peace on earth from Trump. This is all of what they're pushing, pure messianic religious fervor. And while all that's going on, and Trump is fighting for his, Q very likely is Kabbalah. I did videos on that. Daily Beast, who is awful, has a good article about Jared Kushner, saying that this is what Jared Kushner does while Trump, and I noticed this as well, while Trump is fighting for his political career and trying to stop the steal, Kushner is nowhere to be found. He's been over accepting awards and busy trying to get every little thing he can get for Israel in these last couple months. The president's son-in-law has developed a reputation in Trump land for being conspicuously absent when things turn rocky. So Jared Kushner is too busy over in Israel rubbing elbows with Netanyahu and making all these peace deals for Israel. And trying to go ahead for more territorial annexation of Palestinian land. And Trump aides are saying this is what Kushner does. He bails out. All he cares about is as himself. All he cares about is doing as much as he can for Israel. See, I don't think I have anything else on here. Maybe Kushner knows something. Maybe Kushner is, we'll see. Or maybe he's just trying to get everything for Israel. We have also today out, Iran's president compares Trump to hang Saddam, predicts U.S. president may meet some fate. I don't know about that, but Alex Jones, when I saw Alex Jones say that Kushner looks strong and authoritative and he's smart and good looking, my spidey sense went off like never before that something was going on, 100%. Iran's president compares Trump to hang Saddam. Predicts, I don't know about that at all, but I did play at the end of my stream yesterday that Pat Robertson, Christian Zionist Pat Robertson, says was turning against Trump. I also saw, seemed like Nick Fuentes was with Schroyer the other day on InfoWars saying that he thinks it's over. He thinks Biden's going to be in. He's still going to keep fighting, but that basically seemed like he's given up to a degree. Just a quick little thing. Since I'm still under an hour, I'll touch on this. This is a young Christian or a young Jew who just duped a couple groypers, got them to film some stuff for him, fly out. He's friends with Laura Loomer, some young Zionist kid, and he tricked these guys. Said he was going to give them a bunch of money to do stuff, and then they never paid. They've got some whole long thread on here. He's tied in with the Mercer family and a bunch of other Zionist propagandists, influential Jewish donors, and he duped some groyper people. I just thought that is typical. It's maybe what you get for trusting a shady character like this, an Israel firster. Anyway, and finishing off here, every single time. Man, my throat's getting ripped up. We have BitChute. This is going to be up on BitChute. Everybody subscribe to BitChute. I'm about to hit, you can find the link on nomorenews.org. BitChute. I'm about to hit 25,000 followers. So if everybody could get over there. If you're not subbed to BitChute yet, seriously, link in the chat right now. Get over there. Help me get to a 25,000. It's a nice round number since I've been banned from YouTube, where I had 135,000 followers. My average video was getting, even when I was heavily suppressed, it was getting like 30 to 50,000 views. And, 1,500 to 2,000 people a live stream. Now we're getting like 800 to 1,200 a live stream. We're getting like maybe 10,000 views. They are suppressing, shutting it down. You got to support independent media. fighting against them. Anyway, sign up for BitChute. Go subscribe. You're not going to find any truth on YouTube anymore. You guys probably know that if you're here already, but subscribe to BitChute, DLive, nomorenews.org. You can see here BitChute, again, just keeps growing and growing and growing. They are now 1,500th biggest website, according to Alexa, in the world. 1,500th biggest website in the world. They are growing fast. They're going to be targeted. Make Adam Green's videos play better. I also have a new YouTube channel, which I'm going to be streaming to this YouTube channel. I just hit 1,000 subs. Everybody sub over there. It's in the chat. Now I'll be able to stream there. So if you want to watch on your smart TV or with the app or whatever, and DLive isn't working for you, or whatever country you're in, nomorenews.org. And what else? Contact page here. Donate. I can't do it without you. Thanks for everybody for the support. I saw, since my stream last night, I had, it looked like over a dozen people subscribed through DLive. I love DLive. DLive is awesome. Follow, subscribe on DLive, become an Amalekite. It's a great way. They barely take anything. It's awesome. Anyway, you guys are awesome. Thank you all for joining me. And I will see you guys all again very soon. Take care.